Will the minister update the House on the government's policies under Operation Sovereign Borders to stop illegal boat arrivals, and how has regaining control of Australia's borders affected the budget bottom line?
I call the Honourable Minister for Immigration and Border Protection.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the member for Hughes, my good friend and colleague from the Shire. Madam Speaker, I also want to thank the Treasurer for his comments regarding our performance in the border protection portfolio, because the Treasurer and I share many things in common, but one thing we share in common is backbone, Madam Speaker. We share in common backbone because the same backbone you've seen displayed on our borders is the same backbone this Treasurer has put into the budget. Now, Madam Speaker, that is in stark contrast to what we saw from those opposite. I can update the House, Madam Speaker. It will come as no surprise to the House, I'm sure, that since my update yesterday, there have still been no successful people smuggling ventures to Australia, and we are now in our 6th successive month of that being the case. But it wasn't always thus, Madam Speaker, and I'm glad the Treasurer saw fit to reference the performance of the member for Watson and the performance of the member for McMahon, and I could even go to the member for Gorton when it came to the backbone or lack thereof, Madam Speaker, when it came to their performance on the borders. And I'll remind the House, the member for Watson, when he was Minister for Immigration, 68 boats turned up, a total of 5,358 people, and he was only there for a couple of months, Madam Speaker. The member for Gorton, 183 boats turned up, 12,386. That's what happened under the member for Gorton. But the member for McMahon, Madam Speaker,
the member for Corio,
398
boats. Will remove himself for 1 hour under 94A.
Madam Speaker, reminding the House about the record of the member for McMahon when he was the Minister for Immigration. 398 vessels, 24,447 arrivals. Now, what we will see from the member for McMahon, if he were ever to become the Treasurer again, is the same backbone he showed in immigration he'd applied for the budget. And that's what we're seeing in his response to this budget, Madam Speaker. Now, I can update the House as well, Madam Speaker, that it is true that $2.5 billion is the saving in this budget of our successful border protection policies. But at the last election, Madam Speaker, those opposite were forecasting 33,000 arrivals over the budget and forward estimates based on their current policies at the election, enough to fill Simon Stadium, which is the home stadium of the member for Corio, Madam Speaker. 33,000. That would have cost this budget $7 billion. Wow. $7 billion. Madam Speaker, our border protection policies are working for Australia. They are working for Australia, and the Treasurer's budget is working for Australia, Madam Speaker, and that's how it will remain.